Hello patrons, how are you? Gosh, it's been 5 billion years. I've got to start driving. I was just going to go for a walk up and down my street, but I thought, no, I'm going to go to the lake and then have a little walk. And I woke up so early, but then I decided I had to do all this meal prep and everything and get my daughter sorted with her, what she has to learn. Puppy sorted, cat sorted, everything sorted. So there's so much to do, and that's hours, takes hours. And then I have to get stuck into the editing of the 3.5 hours that I recorded with Richard Balducci yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before. And yesterday was just another disaster with contractors coming to install some electricity in my new studio. So as you can see, these are the reasons why there's been so many delays in creating content, and I really apologize for all of that. I really do. So hopefully we're going to organize some Q&As and some chat sessions. Let's just find out what everyone's been up to, and I want to do that every week. And it might be a long stretch, but I really want to do that every week with you guys. Anyway, I'm going to get on with walking. Going to the lake. Springtime. Let's just hope the other cars don't see me holding my phone. So I usually walk all this way. And I haven't been able to walk since I got my puppy. I've got to show you my puppy, guys. She's a crazy girl. And here we are. We're coming up to Wentworth Lake. And this is where I have done my walks. You can see it's a lake. I've done my walks before, my walk and talks. Evil Cujo. False advertising. You are supposed to be a nice dog. False advertising. Tummy tum 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 tum. Tummy tum tum tum. Tummy tum tum. Tummy tum tum. Tummy tum tum. No biting, mummy. Just walking down. Wish I could take my little puppy here, but she's just not so good at walking just yet for exercise. She's pretty tiny. There's some ducks and some hens.
Oh, what is printed on?
Some waterfowls.
Printed on.
Yeah. Hi. I know I look pretty bad with the glasses on. These days I just chuck on my glasses and I walk out the door. Not much makeup going on. So my daughter's with her dad, and something that a lot of you might have worked out or might not have worked out. I reconciled with her father, and nothing that we expected, because we'd been separated for it was over 3.5 years, and before I started my channel, and series of events and thoughts, healing on myself, and doing things that I don't know, I guess dedicating myself to my family rather than just what I wanted to do or what I thought was right for me and my daughter in the long run. But the more I dedicated myself to the family unit for my daughter's sake, the more I realized many things about myself, and it just became natural. We reconciled so many things, and it just took time. And he was never a bad person, so that's the thing. And what I realized and recognized was, as I went along and was doing healing on myself with wonderful practitioners, I started to realize there was a lot of interference from demonic entities to break up the family. And this happened before you guys knew about me, before my before I started my channel. I think that sometimes we don't realize it, but we invite entities into our lives, and they will use any opportunity to get into you, to influence you in a negative way. And you might not think it's a negative thing. You might begin by thinking it's a positive thing, or like a modern thought, or you'll justify it. You'll feel righteous in your decisions. And when you analyze the influence, you start to see that it's actually been orchestrated in such a way that not just one demon got in, but maybe thousands had orchestrated the whole thing. And I think this is happening across the world. I think what's happening to the family unit, I'll just stand over here. I think what's happening to the family unit worldwide is it's getting torn down, and we know that that's the agenda of the Luciferians. We know that that's the agenda of social media, of music industry, of entertainment. I learned this with Richard Balducci as well. You can see that there's an agenda to demoralize and downgrade family values. And so unless there's been like severe abuse in a family unit where someone's going to be harmed, these days it's sort of people just find any excuse to break up, I think. And I get it, but when you analyze it, sometimes you'll find that there might be some interference somehow. So it might be like a demon of lust, or it might be a demon of drink, or addiction that breaks up a family, or whatever. It doesn't have to be family. It could be like friendships and breaking up, just relationships in general, or deterring you from doing a spiritual path and making you steer towards selfishness and idolatry, or steer towards negative influences that in the long run just lead you further and further away from truth and divinity, and then closer to the dark side, and before you know it, you're doing all sorts of things and justifying it, right? Like, how many times have you seen in our society that people justify polyamory, for example, just having multiple partners and not committing, and people will justify it and say, yeah, but it's my free will and I'm not hurting anyone, and you might as well follow Crowley's do as thou wilt. That's where I'm at the moment. It's like people just justify their bad behavior all the time, and that's what's kind of been happening to me. Is like I'm sort of recognizing where there was interference in my life, and I feel like I opened the door to some of this through certain things in my home or behaviors, and I just think that we all need to sort of question what it is that we're doing that is inviting these entities in. It's really bad with kids these days because they've got their video games and social media, and so all this dark stuff's coming into the home, right? and it's kind of coming through the screen. We've learned that through Laura Whitworth's work, a lot of AI stuff. Well, that's all demonic, right? And that can have a negative frequency, or a frequency that causes nightmares for children, for example, or night terrors. And my daughter was suffering from that, from night terrors. So these are the things that I'm sort of reconciling with at the moment, and trying to fine tune everything. There's only so much that saging can do, right? There's only so much that saging can do. There's only so much that declaring sovereignty and all of that can do. You have to go to the big guy. You have to go to God, right? And that's where I'm at. And the more I dismantle this, particularly the last 3 or 4 years, the more I dismantle it, the more everything goes back to this spiritual war and spiritual warfare. And that's something that a lot of us already know, but we don't realize the extent of it. So a lot of you might have been reassessing where you've been, and for me, I've had a massive overhaul. So I've been analysing a lot of my old work that's kind of there for posterity. So, unlike many of yourselves, you might not have recordings of your beliefs and things that are there for permanent record publicly. And so it's been a real roller coaster ride for me, because I'm there with hundreds of thousands of people watching what I'm doing and what I'm saying, and influencing those people in some ways, even though I'm just sharing my path, and my path changes and it evolves. But to couple that with reconciliation, and then moving house, and decluttering, and downsizing, and then renovating, and then dealing with all of that, and homeschooling, and re-establishing relationship and routines again. It's like, to do that on top of everything else was real full on. And so the lack of content that you've seen is because of that. And I just justify it by saying, well, I could have still created content, but it would have been very it just would have been, you would have seen it going up and down, because my point of view was just different every day. I didn't know where I stood in my own self. I was sort of like trying to assess everything. Where do I stand? What do I believe in? Where's all of this coming from? Where are all these ideas coming from? What do I discard, and what do I take on board? And some of the stuff that I was going through was and I'm still going through it. I have to reestablish a routine, right? But also I've been getting homeopathic remedies. So myself and my daughter have been getting homeopathic remedies, and she's been getting craniosacral therapy as well. And my practitioner has a bioresonance machine, and she sort of like tests, whether or not, what supplements you use, or what frequencies you need in the homeopathic stuff. It's pretty amazing. And all of this is been of great benefit to us. I see small changes in my daughter. There was a big significant shift when we did a MMR detox, and suddenly her cognition went up, and her ability to feel her body and know when she needed to go to the bathroom suddenly got repaired, and that's pretty amazing. But for myself, I was talking to my homeopath yesterday, and she's actually a chiropractor / homeopath / osteopath, and she said, I said to her, you know, what I've noticed in me, rather than the physical changes, is more the spiritual changes. It's like layers of an onion coming off. And she said that was definitely the case. Like sometimes something that, like you're trying to cure a certain thing, let's say you've got a certain physical condition, but it might be an old mindset that needs to be cleared and rebalanced. And that happened to me in the last month. I mean, it's been pretty crazy. I've noticed a significant change in myself in the last month, spiritually. And it's been trying to grapple with that has been like a crisis of faith. I've had to reassess everything. And that's really hard because it's almost like I've done a 180 on a lot of things. I recorded a video for you guys on Halloween. It wasn't a video, it was just audio, and it was me telling everyone the story of something that happened to me in my very early 20s, where I essentially almost had a demonic possession, or it was definitely a demonic oppression, but it was full on, and I very luckily stopped it before it got worse, and it put me right off. You know, I was 22 at the time, and I've been doing divination and occult stuff since, and new age stuff since I was about 15 or 16. So I'd been teaching myself all this stuff for years, and I was known amongst my friends as a psychic, and had been doing some readings here and there. But that put me, when that happened to me, it was with a Ouija board. It really shocked me and scared me so much that I didn't touch it for like 2 or 3 years after that. I stayed away from all that kind of stuff, and I'm kind of at that point now. I'm assessing everything, and something's happened to me in the last month or so where it might have been just all the unpacking and moving house and packing a lot of my tools away, my divination tools and my books and my crystals and all of those things away. The influence of that energy is not in my life, and so I kind of have assessed whether I need to take a break from it. So as far as divination goes, I've decided to take a break from it, and that impacts me and my content, right? So I still love exploring all of people's ideas, and I love exploring various theories and our reality. I love exploring all of that, but for me, myself, practicing divination, I feel like I need to take a break. And I've been doing this for 30 years, okay? So you can't say like it's just a new fad that it was my whole life. It was my whole belief system, okay? So for me to suddenly say I'm not going to do that right now, I need to work out why I'm feeling this way. And it's scary, because imagine like this is your life, right? And you were doing something every day, and it was formed your entire belief system and the way you believed the world to be, and that when you stop doing that, suddenly you find peace, right? And suddenly you feel a calling. There's a different kind of intuition going on. So I'm still psychic, right? But I used to hear voices, like I used to hear clairaudiently voices, and now I'm questioning those voices, because even though they give you very accurate information, it's like where was that coming from, right? You could say, oh, it's your higher self, but sometimes, and it might only be just a little bit of the time, sometimes it's a negative entity. And that's what was happening. It's like, because you're open, you're at risk of all of that. And all the saging in the world won't stop that. That's something I've discovered, is all the saging in the world, all the spiritual protection in the world won't stop that interference. Because what you're doing is you're making a pact, or unconsciously making a covenant with dark entities when you do this stuff. That's the problem that I've got with it, is that they believe, not you, they believe they now have a right to come in and talk to you and trick you and deceive you. You can make all the declarations in the world, unless you do it through God, unless you declare through God, and I don't care who I offend here, through Jesus Christ, because the truth is that when you say that name, and I've witnessed this when I was not practicing anything, when you say Jesus Christ, these entities run a mile. And I asked Laura Whitworth about this, and she said that yes, that in one of her sessions, a lady, she saw, and the lady saw in the clearing session, Jesus, and when she called Yeshua's name, these demons ran a mile. They were not leaving until when they called in Jesus. So nothing else helped in that regard. Okay, nothing else helped. And that is the thing, is like, to me, these are the things I'm questioning. Why would I go to any other entity? Why would I go to Archangel Michael? Why would I go to these deities when the one thing that when you call on them, like my daughter was having a night terror the other day, right? And she's been having them a lot her whole life. And I know that it's demonic. I know that it's something trying to get in. It's somehow there's a doorway, it's open, they're getting in, and they're trying to hurt her and therefore hurt me. So I then immediately, this is the first time I ever did it, I prayed, and I prayed to Jesus. The minute I prayed to Jesus, these things ran. Like, she stopped crying instantly. Like, her dad was trying to comfort her, nothing was working, stopped crying instantly. And I saw in my mind's eye these things running out the door. And in my mind's eye, I saw Jesus, and I saw him say, "You've still left the door open for them." But then he said, "There's nothing more to do." And then I asked in the prayer, "What do you mean?" And the feeling I got, because it's a very subtle feeling, it's not the same as when you're doing readings with possible influence of archons and other entities that you're not aware of. It's a very subtle knowing, and it was like, now that you've said a prayer to God through Jesus Christ, there is nothing more to do. They're gone, right? And I just find this is the thing I'm grappling with, is I have all these beautiful friends and family and audience members who, and by the way, I hate religion, okay? I'm just telling you, I hate religion. But I have all these beautiful friends and family members, and they don't believe in this stuff, but they're quite happy to talk to pagan gods. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why are you okay to practice pantheism or make up stories from Madame Blavatsky about ascended masters, because that's where it comes from, who was a Luciferian, by the way, but you're not okay to say the name of Jesus Christ? And I just think that whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, there are people who are not Christian who know that when you say that name, that's going to be powerful, right? And I just feel that this is spiritual warfare, and we need to get right with all this stuff. And what I found is, unconsciously, while I'm sitting there saying, I'm talking to pure divine source creator, and I'm talking to only God, and I'm talking to only my higher self, and I'm not talking to anything else, they were still getting in, right? They were still getting in and messing up my life. They were getting in and influencing people that I loved. They were getting in and making me do things, pretending to be spirit guides, and pretending to be angels and divine information from my higher self, and then trying to lead me astray. But because of my own conscience, I recognize that that wasn't false, right? And I just sit there and I think, how do I reconcile all of that and continue to tell people this stuff when I've witnessed in my own life that some of that stuff is dangerous, spiritually and morally, and possibly steer you off course, kind of dangerous, like right off course, right? To split families up, to lead you to a relationship that is destructive, and like to lead you away from the family unit in favor of an abusive person, right? For example. And I just think that, like I said, I'll repeat again, I'm not demonizing any of this at all in terms of like spiritual practices that people have, and I'm not demonizing myself, or I don't like religion, again, like I said, because religion is completely different than having a relationship with God, your own private relationship. And I just feel that what I've recognized in the last few weeks as this has been happening, and the more I've prayed and tried to listen to this knowing inside of me, that I've opened a door for 30 years to these possible attacks while trying to teach people to protect themselves against them, is kind of like it's kind of like there's a field full of vicious rabid dogs, a beautiful field with vicious rabid dogs, and I've left the gate open, right? And then I'm going into the field with the rabid dogs, and I'm allowing myself to get attacked, and then telling people, no, it's okay, come, jump over the fence, jump over into this field where you could possibly get attacked, right? And then I'm giving you a fly swatter to ward off the rabid dogs. Do you know what I mean? And I'm telling you how to protect yourself, and then I'm giving you this fly swatter, and it's not working. People are still getting attacked. For example, when I started doing my dowsing videos, now I've been dowsing since I was like 18 years old, right? But I never did the spelling stuff. I just used to do yes, no, and to make decisions about things. The spelling thing with the letters was very new. Probably just when I started my channel, I started looking at these charts and stuff, and I tried it and it worked. And in my early videos, people just like were thrilled. Oh my God, I gotta do this. I'm gonna go and buy it. Now, even though I gave instructions on you should not be using, you've got to have a spiritual practice, you've got to be cleansed, you've got to clear your space, you've got to only do it for a short period of time. I was telling people all this stuff, telling people to set an intention and a prayer. It took off so much that there are people with channels now doing it, and they're giving people false information. They've copied my chart that I drew, the same colors and everything that I colored it in with, and I then had countless emails from people who did it, lay people who've never done any kind of divination in their life, telling me they were getting attacked by demons when they did it. How can I, in good conscience, continue to share that with people, share myself doing divination, and then just assume, if they get attacked, they get attacked, right? Because I can teach you all the protection in the world. The bottom line is it's divination, right? And no matter how you paint it, you are opening the door. Okay, and for a layperson, like, I've been doing this for 30 years, okay? It's my life. It's not like I'm just a medical student. I'm a doctor in this. Does that make sense? And even I was opening the door under the guise of goodness. and they got in because they see it, the demons see it, as a legal right on their part to interfere with you. And I just don't want to play with them anymore. I don't want anything to do with that world. I don't want anything to do with demons. I don't want anything to hurt me or my family or my friends or my audience. Does that make sense? So where do you stand now when your whole worldview is changed? What do you do? What do you say to people? I've been grappling with this for like 4 weeks now, or more maybe. Like, how do I paint this for you all? I'm happy to talk to people with different points of view. Absolutely happy to talk to people with different points of view, because I don't judge anyone. Like, totally do not judge anyone's belief systems and their experiences. I'm not God. I have no right to judge anyone. I'm not demonizing people who are practicing these things. I'm just saying from my experience, after all these years, when I see false information coming through from these entities, these deceivers, Satan was the great deceiver, this is what the Bible says, and he is the father of deception. In fact, he rules this realm, this matrix, right? So he's deceiving all of us, and they're deceiving us through all sorts of things, and they will paint. Do you think that they're coming with like dark energy and just affecting you? Oh, here's the dark energy. No, they're gonna, and it says it in the Bible. It says Satan comes as a being of light, right? So it's not gonna, you're gonna think it's okay. You're gonna do your dowsing and you're gonna think it's all okay and it's safe, right? Until it's not. And the more I look into all of this stuff, the more I just see it just keeps leading back to, sorry for swearing, it just keeps leading back to Luciferianism. It just keeps leading back to Aleister Crowley. It just keeps leading back to these dark people. It keeps leading back to Thelema, do as thou wilt. Okay? This is this idea that we can do whatever we want, and we think that that's the right way to live, that we just we're gods, we're our own God. This belief that I'm going to tell me what to do in my life. No one has got a right to place any rules to protect you in any way. You just do whatever you want, right? This kind of notion is kind of at the root of a lot of this New Age practice. Believe me, I know. I taught it for so long, and I was teaching people that they were their own gods, that they were divine and that they were their own gods. Now, am I denying that we are God's creations that are divinely created and therefore children of a creator being and therefore have a spark of that? Am I denying that? No, I'm not. But you didn't create the stars. I'm sorry, but you didn't. You didn't create the universe. You didn't. Okay? And so when you have problems in your life and you're struggling, how does it make sense that you're going to solve your own problem when you're the one that's messed up? You do need a higher power. That's why in 12-step programs they say you need to have a higher power, right? You can't solve your own problems. You have to give over your struggles and your pain to a higher power. You must. And that higher power, by the way, the only thing I would disagree with is if you said your higher power was Lucifer. Sorry, I'm not going to agree with that. Okay, that's the one thing I will not condone. Do whatever you want, but don't worship that entity. I know this is going to be very controversial and everybody's going to get upset with me. This is another thing I was struggling with, is like, how do I say this without offending people? Because I'm just not going to, I can't in good conscience lie and just keep doing tarot readings and psychic readings for people. I'm happy to do like Q&As where we work out together how to move forward. I would love to teach you all how to trust your intuition and how to distinguish, the whole idea of going within, in terms of tapping into the source of God, from within, or knowing what is correct and what is not. I'm totally up for that. But as far as divination tools and because I'm still psychic, but I'm refusing to play ball with the dark side. And unfortunately, I'm really sorry, guys, but if you're not going to include God in your practice, you are... Look, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I just know that there's a lot of shenanigans out there that when you look into it, there are people worshipping creation, right, rather than the creator, and they're deifying objects or entities that they think are of the light, but they're not. And it's just dangerous. I can't in good conscience share that anymore with people. I'm a very creative person, so I love creating things and I love interviewing people. I love interviewing people and finding out more and their knowledge helping, and then I contribute to their knowledge, and then we sort of share that with the audience so that you can get an understanding of the realm around us. You can get an understanding of where you sit in all of this. I don't judge people, so like I can't sit there and say to you how to live your life, but I can only share with you where I've made mistakes, where I have found it just keeps going back to the same problem of these things are interfering in my life. These entities are, it's spiritual warfare. And who do I think I am that I can teach you to protect yourself against demons and entities, but then give you tools that are allowing you to open the door for them? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to comprehend that this is 30 years of analysing this and keep coming back to this same conclusion, that I'm opening the door for them. And no matter how much I sugarcoat it, no matter how much I dress it up, oh, but I helped thousands of people, oh, but if it wasn't for me, this person wouldn't have committed suicide. Satan doesn't care. He's just like, you might have saved that person's life, but I'm going to do this in their life, right? It doesn't matter in the long run. It's like, it's going to F me up. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be really clear, and it's only a realization I came with when I spoke to my homeopath yesterday. I actually think that, because I used to pray every day, every single day, wishing that I could finally solve my lifelong weight problem, and pretty much lifelong. And I recognized yesterday or the day before that my weight problem started when we unfortunately got involved with the Jehovah's Witness Church, and that's a cult and it's based in Satanism. I'm sorry, but it's a false doctrine. And so we and all the people I knew in Jehovah's Witnesses, they always used to get demonic attacks, always, because it's false. It's a false doctrine. And my body reacted by swelling up and protecting myself, right? And the years that I can go back, so just imagine I started divination after we left the church at about 15. So between the ages of 12 and 15, I didn't have a weight problem, and then suddenly, it wasn't really a weight problem, it was like a little bit. And then suddenly my weight swells up as soon as I start doing divination, as soon as I start doing readings for people. And when I used to do it full time, that's when my weight would always go up quite a bit. And when I started this channel, I was losing weight, right? And before I started the channel, I was finally losing weight. And then I got stuck into doing readings, like lots of readings all the time. My body just started swelling up again. And I just think it's a intuitive reaction of my body's intelligence to protect me from spiritual attack. And when I took this homeopathy treatment, it's trying to balance my body so that I can lose weight, right? And in that, this spiritual awareness came to me. It's like, you need to stop doing divination for a period of time, kind of thing. It was just like this thing just came over me. It was like, buy a Bible, try and learn. And that was something that I was so against, because I just questioned it all the time. And I'm not saying I'm religious, but I need to know the word. I need to know whether it's true. I need to know what parts don't I agree with. I need to know, is this true? And I got different translations. I got all these different translations. Like, I need to study it and work out, what do I feel about this? How do I believe it? Do I not? I need to find out whether all the conspiracies were right about all these things. And that's what I've been doing. So if you've been seeing any posts in Telegram about that, that's basically what I've been analysing. I can't say that my exploration of it is correct. I can't say that Christianity for everybody is correct, but that's how, I essentially was born into Christian faith, but we never truly understood it, or we were steered off course by Jehovah's Witnesses, who claim they are Christian but they're not. They actually downgrade Jesus to Archangel Michael. They think he's a form of Archangel Michael, which just,
Give them to me while you go and have a drink.
and I think this realization for my health. I'm nearly 50 years old, and I still got massive issue with weight. It's not just like, oh, so I can look better. I'm talking about, I'm at risk of certain cancers. Cancer runs in my family. I'm at risk of all of these diseases, and I just feel that somehow, on a metaphysical level, me constantly being bombarded with thousands of these things all the time in the unseen realms, I have a feeling that part of the weight issue is to do with that, and part of it's to do with this period of time in childhood around being forced to go to these Jehovah's Witness meetings and stuff. I just think that it's got a lot to do with that. So as we remove the layers through homeopathy, this is becoming apparent, right? And so yesterday, I've just got a lot of people around. Yesterday I sat down with my husband and I said to him, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to lose weight, and it's affecting everything. It's affecting my energy. I feel like these entities are still draining my life force almost, right? I'm taking a SIA, and if it wasn't for a SIA, I swear to you, I would not be able to stand up. I would, so in breaking that contract, this unknown contract that I had with these entities getting in, right? So I don't know that that's happening. I'm thinking I'm a good person, right? But they believe that it's their right to come in. You've opened the door for them and invited them in, right? You got all these pagan things in your house. You've got all these symbols and stuff that you don't even know what they are, and you've got these, tarot cards and all this stuff, and they're basically going, oh, you want to play in our realm? We'll come in. You've got lots of audience members. We'll come in and F you up. We'll come in and give you false information to lead people down the wrong path every now and then. We'll give you a lot of truth, because this is what they do. This is what these entities do. They feed you a lot of accurate information. You're thinking you're getting it from a higher source, and then, it's just that little bit just a little bit to take you off course. So anyway, I said to my husband yesterday, I said, look, I can't do this anymore. I really need to lose weight, or I have to go and have surgery. Like, I literally was like at that point. I said, you need to help me. So, you know, we've set this period of time. He said he's going to help me. We sat there and laid out pros and cons for different things, what I should do in terms of diet and things like that. Taking a lot of stuff on board that Jeremy has taught me through his Naturally Better thing, and just making a strategy and a routine. Now, I used to be really anti-routine before because I was traumatized by Jehovah's Witnesses. Suddenly this routine has become, because of the homeopathy, so again, stripping layers, and suddenly you realize, oh, I do need a routine. Oh, this is why things are messed up. Or I mean, look, I could tell you guys so many stories where I've navigated my way out of great darkness with these entities. I look, and I only realised it when I packed my things away and I analysed all of these years of messages and paranormal experiences and stuff, and I realised, oh my goodness, it was these demonic things, you know, trying to mess with me. Even to the point where, after the Ouija board experience years later, the way the dark pulled me back in, they disguised themselves as angels. So I literally was not practicing divination for years. I lost a lot of weight when I stopped practicing. No kidding. Lost a heck ton of weight when I was not practicing divination. The minute I tried to stop that altogether, the divination and whatever, and I started losing weight, they started coming back in again. Now, because why? I prayed to an angel. Now, you're not supposed to pray to angels. I'm sorry, but you're not supposed to pray to angels. They're a creation of God. You don't pray to angels. I followed this thing in this magazine that I got from the store. I remember I was losing weight, and they said light a candle, and they gave a list of all the angels, and I was like, oh, I want a new relationship. Let's pray to this angel for love. Next thing you know, I heard a voice immediately. Why? Because I opened the door. I opened the door to the astral realm where these dark entities reside, and they pretended to be angels. And they did this for years. I was channeling angel messages for people. I was doing spirit guide portraits. And they would pretend, and then it would always be, I would test them, right? I would go, how do I know you're not demons? And then they go, we're giving you positive messages. If we were demons, we would be harming you. But I learned how to do channeled automatic writing because of them, right? But it was the doorway that they came in, and I would suffer from astral catalepsy because of it. I would get these entities sitting on my chest, and then I would freak out and be frozen in my sleep and try to scream, and then suddenly they'd show me an image of an angel and they'd go, it's okay, relax, we're taking you on a journey. And then I would relax and I would feel myself being pulled out of my body. These weren't angels, these were demons doing that. And I didn't know, because I opened the door and I thought I was good and I thought I was doing the right thing. And I thought that these beings of light were helping me, but they see the long-term goal. They will pretend to be Pleiadians. They will pretend to be beings of light. They will pretend to be your spirit guide. They will pretend to be all of this stuff. Give you messages of hope and you know, peace on earth and oneness and all of this stuff. But do they ever lead you to God? Do they ever say that? I know a lot of you out there don't believe in the Bible, and I know a lot of you out there, but it is a sacred text. And for Christians, it's the Word of God. And we can see that because of how it works and how it operates.
against the demonic realm, they freak out when you read these chapters. I know this because of my story with the Ouija board. But I'll tell you this, in 1 John chapter 4, it tells you how to test the spirits. Test every spirit that comes to you. Now, if you test that spirit and ask them, do you believe that Jesus Christ walked on this earth, and is the Son of God? If those demons deny it, if those entities deny it, if they steer you away, if they say to you that's not true, or they twist it in such a way, you know that they're demons. That's the test. This literally says it in the Bible, the test of demons. And many of you might not agree with that, and you'll say, but I have all these beautiful experiences, but I have, it's just like me telling you what to eat for your diet. Like, I can't tell you what to eat, right? Because one thing works for one person and one thing doesn't work for another. I'm sharing with you my experience. That's it. No judgment on you. But I'm showing you the pitfalls that I experienced with real demons, with real dark attacks, with real things. And I'm sharing with you the process of how I'm undoing this. I don't know it all. I don't have it all, but I can vouch, I can be honest with you. I'm going to say to you, I'm going to be the most honest I can every step of the way. When I make a mistake, I will tell you that mistake. Learn from my mistakes. Take it on board or don't take it on board, but know that every time I speak to you, I believe I am saying the truth. And so all of these, what ends up happening is all of the past predictions I gave you, many of them were correct, but where did that information come from? I don't know. I believe most of it was archonic or demonic. When I started doing astral journeying, so what is astral journeying? I'm in the astral realm where the demonic live. Right? So I'm in their playground when I go on these astral journeys. I'm in their playground. Right? What do you think they're going to do? Yeah, they'll show me some real stuff. They'll show me what's under the Vatican. They'll show me what's under Australia in this pit of fire. They'll show me all of that. And then, who appeared to me to tell me, make a Facebook group, put this up on social media? An entity in the astral portraying themselves as JFK Jr. Now, I remember I was really skeptical and I said, who are you? And he says, I know you think I'm not him. Test me. At the time, I didn't know about how to test them. I just was like, are you AI? Right? And the entity pretending to be JFK Jr. said, see, I didn't disintegrate into pixels like the other AI things that have come to you before, so I must be real. And what did this entity pretending to be JFK Jr. say to me? He said, put your content up. Now, at the time, I had no money. Put your content up. You won't have to work. We'll get money to you. You will earn money. Somehow you'll earn money. You'll have an audience and money will be provided to you. And you will know it is us. The military, allegedly, this is what this entity said, helping you. Because it will appear in the numbers in the computer, these repeating numbers. And so I was reading messages into everything. So I put up my astral journey videos, which were essentially me journeying through the realms of darkness and not knowing it, right? I was opening my energy field up to these entities to come in because they just thought, oh, right, legally, she's in our territory. We will now mess with her. She's saying she agrees with us. She's saying she's made a covenant with us, right? So I then go into that realm, receive this information, and this crazy wild ride of going viral and creating a channel that then, which was really weird because I never read or knew about the Q movement. They kept giving me this information, like from Q. And I wasn't sure if I believed it, but there it was, all this stuff about Trump and JFK Jr. and blah, blah, blah. And I just, look, they're just happy to mess with you any way they can, these entities, if you're going to do this sort of stuff. They will tell you stuff that just sounds beautiful and lovely and hopeful, and they'll give you hope, because you know what they want to do? They want to build up the hope, build up the hope, build up the hope, so it's perfect and beautiful and la-di-da and 5D consciousness and all of this, and then they'll drop you from a great height to screw with you. That's what these entities do, right? There's certain pieces of information that we should not know. And the reality is these demons don't know the future. Do you know who knows the future? God. That's it. Our Creator. That is it. There is no other entity in this realm that knows the future other than God. That's it. And if God wants you to know the future, you may receive that information, but only through the correct means, not through divination. It's called revelation, right? But even that can be fraught with danger if it's not done correctly, or it's not asked for when that happens. It comes to, this is where all these prophets came from, because it came to them from God without asking. They didn't divine it. They didn't sit there and use a pendulum or tarot cards or sticks or coins or whatever. It came to them through revelation. Now, you've got to ask yourself, if you're feeling icky about this conversation because I dare to say the name of God or say Jesus Christ, you've got to ask yourself, what demons are affecting you? Because they hate that word. They hate it. They hate it. They run. It's like acid on their proverbial skin. What's the ick? Why are you feeling icky about it? Oh, because I just hate religion. Yeah, I was like that. I just hate religion. Oh, here we go, Bible basher. I'm not a Bible basher, but I'm telling you the truth, that there is one Creator. And I will never deny Jesus. That's one thing I will never deny. One thing I have recognized, this is the only two things that I know for sure. There is one Creator, and it is God. And the other thing I know for sure is Jesus Christ is my Lord and Saviour. That's what I know. That's it. I don't know anything else. I'm still researching. I'm still trying to work out whether or not I believe other aspects of things. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with religion. And I do know that there is a demon. And I do know this is a spiritual war. That's what I know. That's what I know, for sure. So where do I go from here? I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and exploring this and exploring with an open mind. But I'm going to put a pause to the divination because I don't want to invite them in my home. I don't want to make a covenant with them. I don't want to make a contract with them unknowingly. I don't want to give them the keys to let them in my life. No amount of saging is going to help that. No amount of chanting is going to help them. They will come in. All right? Just the same way as you don't know that there is certain songs that have a demonic frequency in them put in there by the record companies. You don't know. You didn't ask for it consciously, but they come in, right? Now you don't know that. Just the same way as I didn't know. I was doing everything with a good heart and I didn't know. But I know there is a right way to prevent them from coming in. And it's only one way. Right? But many of you don't agree with that. So I can't tell you what to believe. I'm going to get so much criticism, and that is given. That's a fact. It's inevitable because I am sort of bucking up against people's belief systems. But the thing is, what you need to ask yourself is, you were very happy to believe me when I told you about this unseen realm, and when I gave you predictions, and when I took out my cards and I did all these things, or when I proclaimed to be speaking and communing with nature and trees, and I had a Gaia statue behind me, and I had all of these other things, these mystical things. You were happy to believe that. But maybe some of you are not happy to believe that there is one God. Or that I'm now saying I got screwed over by dark entities that came through my divination practices. Maybe you don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. I can't deny it. And yet I have all these beautiful friends, amazing, incredible friends who I trust dearly, who practice these things and give healings and do all of this stuff, and I absolutely love them, and I'm so scared of losing them, right? But I can't anymore. It's the equivalent of like being a vegan and then realizing it's hurting your health, and then you change your health but all your friends are vegan. That's literally what it feels like. It's like I can't say it's my way's the right way. I can only say it's right for me. So I love everybody. I will continue to speak to everyone, and I'm happy to debate all of this stuff. I'm so happy to debate it because I don't know everything. All I know is I can't do this stuff right now because it's hurting me. It's actually hurting me and harming me and my family. It's hurting my daughter, you know. These entities are getting in and causing her night terrors, which is then affecting me because I can't sleep, right? And I know that when I pray a certain way, they run and they don't come in. And until I can get rid of the portals that I created, because that's essentially what you do, you create these portals in your home with some of these objects, okay? It's like an agreement. It's like opening the gate to them, and you don't know. They can get in. I'm going to have people out there telling me I'm scrupulous in my practices and you just weren't careful, and I did it for 30 years as a professional. Don't tell me I wasn't careful. Don't tell me I didn't know what I was doing. This is my experience, and that's all I can share with you. I can't share other people's experiences and tell you that that's the truth. I can't even tell you that my thing. All I can say is what I'm experiencing is the truth for me in this moment. That's all I can tell you, and I can share it with you so that you know where I've been. I know many of you will get upset, or you'll think I've lost my mind, but I haven't. I can tell you I'm very much more grounded than I've ever been. There were periods of times when I opened, I had, unbeknownst to you guys, I had some hypnosis sessions that I never shared publicly that fucked me up while I was starting, I had my channel. This is why I had to have a break for a month in 2021, because the messages these entities were giving through the hypnosis, me thinking it's my higher self, right? Because the practitioner opened the gate to all these entities, unbeknownst to me, I was under. She invited them in, and I got fucked up. They were saying all sorts of crazy stuff. I thought I was going nuts. I didn't know what to believe because I thought this was the truth. Oh, those entities loved it. Right? And then I continued. I was like, oh, well, got over that. But I don't want to open the door to them anymore. I question everything now because of that. I question the validity of a lot of people out there where they're spreading misinformation about the spiritual realm, where they may have been misguided by darker entities. You might not agree with anything I say, but I'm going to say this. There is a guy, I don't know his name, I forgot his name, I'm going to have to find it, who is with MUFON, right? So UFO, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but they're UFO researchers. And he had, I don't know if it was he or there was a study, he was talking about the study that was done. I heard about this years ago. Countless abduction cases, right? UFO abduction cases, people that regularly got abducted, these abductees, the ones that called on Jesus Christ, the aliens ran for their lives, and the whole vision of the abduction dissolved in front of them, and they realized they were still in their bedroom. In every case where the people called out for Jesus, not Buddha, not Krishna, not Shiva, not Gaia, not the universe, not, Lucifer, Jesus. That's the thing that convicts me. This is the thing that makes me go, this is true. Because I know that there have been cases where I thought I was calling them out, or I thought I was clearing spaces, but they came back again, right? But when I call on the name of Jesus, they run, and the whole thing dissolves, and they stop, and they cannot come further. And people get upset when I say this stuff. I can't help you but tell you what's happening. It's the truth. You've got to ask yourself, why is it rubbing you up the wrong way if I say these things? Yet, if I said a Pleiadian came and protected me, and you believe that, why does it bother you if this is bothering you when I say the name of Jesus? You've got to ask yourself that. Because it's loaded with religion, and I'm sitting here telling you he's got nothing to do with religion. It's people that created religion after, right? They created it after him. It wasn't, he was actually against religion. He was actually against going to the temple and destroying all of that, right? So there's something in it. But then again, what do I know? Anyway, this is a very, very long video. I have to get back and do my work. I didn't intend to record such a long video. But here it is, and this is explaining, I'm sorry for looking so dreadful, but explaining what I've been going through, and I just needed to let you all know, and I love you all, and you will see me. I'm going to continue. I've got all these people lined up to do interviews with, and musings and stuff like that. I'm not an evangelist, not a Bible basher. All I know is that there is one God, and I do believe in Jesus Christ. That's the truth. See ya.